that's not our only measurement tool because there's many, many things that are flawed in that. First of all, actually, can anyone think of why that tool might be flawed?
Well, lots of them.
That's it. I have a question about the spot.
Do you want it from a community perspective? Would you like a community perspective?
Absolutely, I would.
All right. I'm an early educator here in the North End. I lived here for the last 10 years. My daughter's now 19. And I graduated from EC 2010 from Red River. The EDI, it's very flawed. The flaw piece is that it's doing a demographic of neighborhoods, and neighborhoods inherently have issues. And the reason they have issues is always, especially ones that have issues, is because of poverty, is because of all these different barriers. And people are here because it's cheap to live. So you're always going to have the same scores, because you're always going to have the same demographic. So unless you change the core reason of why they're having trouble in that neighborhood, you're always going to have the same demographic, you're always going to have the same scores. The teachers themselves don't like filling out these forms. There's a huge number of these things that are not even valid when they're doing them. So you guys as researchers know, if you're doing a study and 30% of them are thrown out, well, what kind of results you're going to be getting? Because that's pretty much what the EDR, 28% or something? Yeah, because the teachers don't care. Teachers don't have any vested interest in doing these forms. Like I've sat in rooms with these teachers. I've interviewed 48 different agencies here in the neighborhood over the last year in 2 different research projects. And so I've interviewed parents, I've interviewed staff of all the childcare centers, all the family support organizations, and we're frustrated. We're frustrated because there are so many things that have been put into here, but they're all 9 to 5 things. You walk down Selkirk right now, nothing's going on there. It's a highly service-oriented center, 9 to 5. When do these families and parents actually need help, though? Does anybody know?
When it's closed.
They need help between 1 p.m. and 9 p.m. That's when they need help. But nobody's willing to do that for them. I used to work at an anti-gang program that was here in this little Selkirk Developments, 3 blocks from here. 10 years they lasted, and they lost capacity and ability to continue because Heritage Canada won't continue funding you unless you start developing your own capacity to find your own funding sources and stuff like that. Well, we only had a core group of us that had the capacity to even hold a board together, to have a nonprofit together, and it collapsed because people got tired and they'd leave and they wouldn't know how to replace somebody. Same thing happened to the Aboriginal Girl Guides. I was the Aboriginal Girl Guide leader at the Friendship Centre when I first got here in 2004. And again, Girl Guides model is a charity model that doesn't work for this neighborhood. Because again, you're expecting the capacity to come from the people. Well, we don't have capacity, so how are we going to build it? We don't have, with the issues of poverty, all these parents care about every day is how they're going to get fed today. How are they going to feed their kids? How are they going to get them to school? Those kinds of things is all they worry about. They don't worry about the same things you guys do. The same thing your parents do. Because you have opportunities that you don't even understand. These guys don't have any capacity to even think that they can possibly get there. So that EDI thing, it's fine and dandy tool if it's applied to demographics that are all essentially the same, but they're not. This neighborhood is... Yeah. There you go. So anyways, you always have to really check things out and see how they work from the people that are actually doing these things, because you've got all these wonderful numbers, these wonderful graphs. It looks really fantastic because I've put together these things too. And when I start talking to the teachers though, that's when it made me realize